In 2013, I decided to write the Dr. Aktion comic. And I had this idea that I would make this ghetto superhero, a nigga with goggles and a fucked up lab coat that would go around fighting crime in the ghettos, fucking kids, mamas, and shit like that. And oh, if you're wondering how you can get a hold of that comic, go to the first comment. It's pinned below. Has over 4,000 reads. It's free. Let me know what you think. So I found a artist because I don't draw. I wrote the storyline out, and I got like 80% done, and the guy was drawing it. Now, it was coming out good. People thought it was funny. I was showing people at my job and stuff like that on my tablet. And also I had planetoshemag.com at this time, which is now defunct. And my business went under. And I had just a little bit more to finish with the comic, but I ended up getting depressed. And I said, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. I'll just, leave the money that I lost. I lost about $1,000 on the project, and I'll just do something else. I ended up coming to medical school. So that was out. All of that was out. Lost my business. I lost the comic. But during the first year of medical school, I would go back and look at that. We'll go back and look at those scenes that I made and look how funny it was. And when I started making YouTube videos and I started earning some money for it, I could just hear my dad's voice in the back of my head. And I can remember him telling me as a kid, always finish what you start. Now, I want to talk about that because I think that has been my success. I mean, I'm not the brightest person in the world, although I would think that I'm somewhat bright. I'm not the biggest person in the world, but one thing that I want to always do is whatever I start, I want to finish it. And that is something that I think a lot of brothers have forgotten how to do or never know how to do. And that is, you have a good idea. You have a good thought. You're energetic about it at first. But then something comes in the way that maybe you can't control. And then you just put the whole idea on pause. Or you put this on pause. And then I'll get to it later. Then later turns into a year. Or you turns into 2 years, 3 years. And then it turns into never. And then, oh, by the way, you've just lost out on an opportunity that I could have took you to a whole nother level in your life. And that is because you don't finish what you start. That's a lot of our pet peeves in our community. We have good ideas. We have great ambition, but no real follow through. And then when you come back, somebody does something similar to what you were talking about or thought about, and they're successful at it. And you're sitting there mad like, damn, I thought of that shit first. But in actuality is they had follow through. And see, anything, and I know this is sound like a broken record. Nigga, anything that you do is work. People look at people on YouTube and say, oh, he's a YouTuber? That's easy. I mean, I can do that. I can just turn on the camera and talk and make videos. Oh, he has 10,000 subscribers in 5 weeks. I know I can do that. But what happens when you got 5 subscribers after 6 weeks? You got 100 videos and 20 subscribers. You go live and nobody's watching. See, that is when hard work gets busy when talent don't. When you don't see the results that you want and hard work still gets busy. Even when you don't feel like doing it, even though you feel like you're feeling not well, you're mentally distraught, you're upset, but every day you try to finish what you start. And let me tell you this: sometimes it might take you longer than what you initially thought. Like, for example, I had a lot of friends who were in college, And a lot of those people were what we would consider now to be non-traditional students. For whatever reason, they dropped out of a school or college, and now they were 28, 29, or 30, and they were kind of wondering what people were thinking about. Like, man, I'm going to college with 20-year-olds, 21. I'm only 30. Everybody else is 20. What am I going to do? People look at me crazy. But at the end of the day, it don't really matter what they think. What's important is that you finished it. Even if you 40-something, 50-something. Complete what you started. Because if you get in the habit of giving up on stuff that you start, then you end up doing that with a lot of stuff. Like, for example, the difference between, I think, first world countries in second and third world countries. And this is what I noticed too, and I've heard this about certain countries in Africa. You don't ever see really a lot of unfinished buildings in Europe. You don't see them really in the States. Very rarely would you see somebody start a building and it just stops. But you will see a lot of that going on in Africa. You'll see buildings that are half built. And for whatever reason, that kind of culture, it weighs in on you, right? And then all of a sudden there's all these buildings half built, not completed. Well, a half built building is good to nobody. Everybody wants a completed product. A half good idea is good to nobody. A half good idea is just as good as nothing. No one ever goes to a Chevrolet dealership and says, hey, can I have half of a Corvette? Let me get half of an iPhone. You go to Leroy's Chickens and Grit House and you get half of a 3-piece. You like, nigga, why you eat half the biscuit? See, this is the whole thing. Everybody likes completeness. And no matter how long it takes you to be complete, when you finish something that you start, it builds a new culture in you. And that is a culture that you can pass on to somebody else, whether it be your kids, with the people around you. People start to have more respect for you because when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And that is an attitude that a lot of people like to be around. Everybody, and listen to what I'm saying, everybody likes to be around a person that is consistent. Just see them right here on YouTube. The subscribers. Why do people subscribe to channels? They want to see your stuff. They want you to be uploading all the time. They want you to be consistent. This is no difference than anything else in life, and this is a good skill to have, showing up when you're supposed to, showing up when you don't want to show up. And sometimes you can't do everything all the time. But when you plan to be successful at something, it might take you 6 years. It might take you 7 years. I told you, I applied my first idea to apply to professional school, whether it be pharmacy or medicine. It took me 9 years, 8 years, I believe, just to get an acceptance. 8 years. Started when I was 34. But see, it's okay now. You know what I mean? Yeah, those other 8 years, I could have been already on my way, but it didn't happen for me. It happened right now. And that is the thing. And I don't give a damn what nobody say. Always finish your starting things. Half-assed shit, nobody likes it. You can't do nothing with a half-assed nothing. A half-assed anything, half-complete anything is just as bad as nothing. Complete what you start. Little steps. This is why, a lot of times in credit, and if you have a debt, they have this idea of the snowball effect. And this snowball effect says, okay, you have a credit card bill of $3,000, $2,000, $1,000, $500, $200, $100. Well, they say to get some momentum, clear the smallest ones first. Pay that $100 one off. Then pay that $200 one off. Then you start building momentum to pay the $500 off. Then you start building momentum to pay the $1,000 one off. Then you start building momentum to pay the $2,000 off. Why? Because if you start with the highest one, you might pay up to, $1,000, but you still got $2,000 left, and you might not be able to get to. It's a mental thing. once you start with the little steps to get to where you need to go, eventually you're going to catch steam. And that's all we're trying to say. Finish what you start, brother. So again, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell, subscribe. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate you, brothers. We will have another show on this channel coming up pretty soon. And again, I really thank you. I really appreciate everybody. I'm just looking here. I'm supposed to be doing a show with Irene Yvette. So if you want to look at the Dr. Aktion comic, you can go into the first comment, or you can go in the description. It will be pinned to the top. If you want to support the Negro Manosphere and the Dr. Aktion comic and things like this, $5 a month, you can do that on patreon.com. We have exclusive content on patreon.com from Alan Roger Curry, Ron, myself, Donovan Sharp, LAR Movement, Soul TV 84, all create content for the Negro Manosphere. It's Black Male Media. We'll be doing more, right? And so this is the kind of stuff that we're trying to provide to the brothers. We have the Thirst Box, which is a public series. You know, all of this that you guys are doing have helped us to build what we're doing right now. So again, thank you, brothers. I really appreciate you. Shout out to all the people. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.